welcome to episode 23 of the Yoshi and Lucy Knits podcast. My name is Denise, and you can find me on Ravelry as Canary Song. On Instagram, I am Yoshi and Lucy Knits, and you can find my Etsy store where I sell hand-dyed yarn at Yoshi and Lucy. So thank you for coming back. It's been another 2 weeks since I last recorded, and I think I'm gonna keep the schedule at least for the time being, just because I've been slowing down a little bit on my knitting, and I don't have as much to show, from week to week, and I feel like I'm just gonna be showing the same things over and over again. So 2 weeks is pretty good, and it does take time to record and edit and upload, so it takes away from me doing other things. So this week I have one finished object, a bunch of whips, new cast on, some acquisitions, and a little bit of shop update news, which I will leave to the end. So I didn't think I was gonna have a finished object, but I quickly finished a pair of socks this morning. So here they are. So I finished my my birthday socks, and this is knit on hedgehog fibers in the birthday cake colorway. And I don't know if you can tell, but they're still kind of damp because I I cast off this morning, and I felt like blocking them before I recorded, and they're still not dry. So so yeah, this month is my birthday month, and I wanted to knit this colorway because I saw Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast and Julie from the Knitting Broomstick podcast had both knit this colorway for their birthdays a few months ago, and I picked this up recently at Argyle Yarn Shop because they were having a yarn crawl, and they had a sale, and they started carrying hedgehog fibers, so this is a perfect time for me to go and pick up a few skeins. So I knit this 2x2 rib for 20 rounds, and then the leg for 6 inches, and then I did a German short row heel from Mina Phillip patterns, and then I just knit the foot to 8 inches before the toe. So a little bit about the heel. I started knitting this heel maybe like a few months ago, and Mina has a video, a private video that only people who buy her patterns can see, that's on YouTube, that explains how to do it. And when I was knitting on this, I think it was this sock, I was looking at it after I had knit the heel, and then I realized that there's a lot of holes in it, and I was thinking, and then I was looking at photos from Mina's patterns and other people's patterns using this heel, and they didn't seem like they had a hole. So I went back and looked at her video, and it turns out that I was knitting this heel wrong. Can't say exactly how I did it wrong since it is a paid pattern, but I figured it out, and the holes wasn't that bad with this sock, so I kept going. And then I think with the other one, I did a better job, and I was also knitting on some other socks with the same heel, and I ripped them back, and they came out looking better doing a new heel. I do have a problem. Sometimes I do have holes, when I'm joining the heel back to the rest of the sock, and Mina does have a free video anybody can see on YouTube on how to prevent holes in your sock. So I'm gonna go back and watch that for future sock projects. So overall, I was happy that I finished these. Still have a few, like 2 weeks ago before my birthday, but I just wanted to get something off the needles because I have so many projects right now, and I just wanted to get this off. And I pretty much knit the foot of the second sock in like one evening. I just sat there and like powered through it, and then the toe I finished this morning, so it's really happy. And I think this is now 15 pairs for my box of socks Cal. I've knit more pairs of socks, but they were gifts, so there's 15 pairs for me. So the goal was to knit 12 pairs, and I've surpassed that. So I want to get to 16, which I think I would easily do because I'm already knitting on other socks for myself. So yeah, I really enjoyed the yarn, and this is my first time knitting with hedgehog fibers in their sock base. I've knit with their singles before, and I really enjoy it, and it's a really soft yarn, and I'm gonna add a square of it to my blanket, and yeah, I'm really happy with how these turned out. So onto my whips. Well, actually I have a hole to show you. So I finished the first of the Steeler socks that I was knitting last time. I think I was up to here when I last showed you guys, and I finished one of it. So this is a custom dye order I did for my friend who wanted Steeler socks for her husband, who's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And so I cast on 72 stitches. I'm doing a 2x2 rib, and I think I'm knitting this 6 inches. I don't remember exactly. I haven't touched this in like a week. And I did I think a slip stitch rib, and then I just knit the foot. And I first knit this too long because I had my boyfriend Ryan try it out, and he has a bigger foot, and it fit him, so I had to rip back. I think he's like a size 10 or something. I have it in my notes. So so I had to rip back, and then he tried it on again, and it was snug, so I knew that it would probably fit him now. So yeah, I have the first one done, and I'm working on the second one. I have to grab everything. So this is something new for me. I'm using double pointed needles to knit on socks, which I normally do not do because all my sock needles are in use right now, all my magic loop socks. So I had to knit this using double points. I'm using higher sharps in a US size 1, which is I think 2.25 millimeters. So I'm knitting this around and around, and it's kind of, I don't know, a little strange to me since I'm so used to a magic loop, but I'm starting to get the hang of it, and I think I'm ready to put in the heel now. I haven't touched this this project in a while. So yeah, I want to get this done and, you know, in the mail for him soon before Christmas. And I don't know why, I was like, I posted this on Instagram. At some point I had like four socks and the needles, and I couldn't make up my mind to which one I wanted to work on, so I kept switching, and I knit all the legs on all the socks I had, and then I started putting in the heels. And Ryan was looking at me, he's like, you know, you should just focus on one project because you're never gonna finish one. Which is true, but I don't know why I just didn't feel like I couldn't concentrate on just one project. I wanted to try out all the yarns. So I added the heel for Ryan's sock, which is knitting out of Patton's Croy. And this is a yarn he picked out, and I'm using higher sharps. So I put in the German short row heel, and this is the correct This is how it's supposed to look now. After I figured out what I was doing wrong. It seems pretty tight. There's not going to be any holes over here. But I haven't joined to the rest of the sock yet, which I'm going to have to do. Problem is I had him try this on and it's super tight, which I don't understand because I knit him pair pants Croy last year and he was able to get it over his foot. I think it might just be a blocking issue because I was comparing the, you know, the leg of this to the one he already has, and that was much more stretched out like this. So maybe I can block it out. I think I'm just gonna knit this this sock and then block it out and have him try it on. He did say the other one was snug, so maybe in the future when I knit him socks I'm going to go up a needle size since his foot is so big. And you know, I was explaining to him, I don't understand why this happens. I use the same needles and I'm using the same yarn, and he's like, I don't understand what you're saying. So there's like a knitter's language for people who don't knit. They don't understand. You know, I'm talking about gauge and all this stuff, and he has no idea. He just knows it doesn't fit correctly. So yeah, he has a really big foot, so I'm gonna have to knit this until this foot's like 11 inches long. So I have a lot of knitting to do. I don't feel like ripping this out because I think it will fit him once it blocks out, and I just know now for the future to go up a needle size. Even though this is Pants Croy and Pants Croy is slightly thicker fingering weight, and he has a really big foot. So I learned my lesson now. So I have a new cast on. It's another pair of socks. Now I have to reach over here to figure out a better setup to how I'm doing it right now, because if you're a podcaster, you know that you have a huge mess by the end of it, and I have like all my stuff scattered everywhere. But anyway, so this is a new sock cast on, and I cast on a pair of Christmas socks for myself. And so this is in my own colorway, which is Old Christmas Tree. And I put in the heel, so I'm knitting on the leg right now. So here's the heel, and I like how it looks when you have such little, when you have less stitches. I like the little striping, the thicker stripes versus the little ones. So here it is, caked up. And I think I still have one of these left in the store to ready to ship, but it does have less green in it, so it's not going to knit up exactly like this. But I do have a dye to order listing as well in it if you're interested. So yeah, I'm knitting this for the 12 Socks of Christmas Cal. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, 12 Socks of Christmas Cal, which is hosted by Sarah of the Love Sock Wall podcast. I think this is the 3rd year she's doing it. So it's pretty much just knit on Christmas socks starting in November. And, you know, whips are loud because she always knits a lot of socks, and she doesn't always finish her Christmas socks by Christmas. So I think she, like, you know, puts them away, and then the next year she starts knitting on them again. So it's called like 12 socks. You don't have to knit 12 pairs of socks, but the idea is, you know, just keep knitting socks, and at some point you're gonna have you know, 12 pairs of Christmas socks. It's probably not gonna be in a year, but could happen in a few years. So this is actually the first my first ever Christmas socks, since I only started knitting socks last September. I didn't knit any Christmas socks last year because I didn't have any Christmas yarn. And I do have another skein of Christmas yarn, which I purchased to since that time that I want to cast on, so I want to, you know, get this off the needles. And I'm using Chagus, which are my favorites. And I think I knit this rib 15 rounds, just because I really wanted to get onto the body or the leg, because I want to see how it knits up. So I like how it's turning out. So yeah. So that's all of my sock whips. And I did work on my Cozy Memories blanket a little bit. I said last episode I wanted to do 20 squares in a month, and right now I knit 8 squares this month, which is a lot for me, because there would be like months that I wouldn't even, you know, touch the blanket. So I finished knitting all of the mini skeins that I had, that I dyed myself when I was like experimenting on dyeing. So this is right here. They don't have any names, so I'll just show you how they look. And then I started adding, I have some 20-gram mini skein sets in the shop, and I started adding these to my blanket. So this is called Rustic. This is called Elephants on Parade, and I think this is Silver Amethyst, and I have like 2 more to add here. So yeah, I still have some more in the shop, and I really like this rustic color. It's a lot. I like the pairing of the green and the orange. I might dye up a full skein for myself at some point. So yeah, I haven't woven in any ends. I'm pretty good with that. I don't know if I showed you the back of this blanket, but yeah, I have been weaving in the ends as I go along, but now I'm like 2 rows that I have to weave in, and I want to stay on top of that, because I learned the hard way when I was knitting on a Doctor Who scarf a few years ago. I didn't weave in any ends, and I sat there for, I think it was 3 hours just weaving in ends by the time I was finished. So I want to avoid that. So I've been pretty good with weaving in ends, but I need to get back on that. So I think once I finish this this row, I'll, you know, get right on that. So I do have some acquisitions this week. So this Etsy shop that I've been following since they opened, called Swatch This Fiber Arts, had a sale. It was really a crazy, like, deep discount sale, so I had to, you know, get some yarn. And so here's the shop. It's Swatch This Fiber Arts, and the dyer is Dana, and I believe she has a podcast as well. I think it's called Skeins in Schools, I believe, and she co-hosts it with her son, and they talk about knitting, and she also homeschools him, so I think they talk about that as well. And a lot of her colorways are inspired by children's books, and so yeah, I picked this one up, and it came with a little progress creeper, which is cool because I don't really have that many of those. And this is the Writing Freedom colorway, and it's, both of these are 100% superwash merino, 435 yards. And at some point I'll probably add this to a shawl. And here's the second one. So yeah, it's really pretty. I don't have any project in mind. I just wanted to get some yarn because of the sale. And then I picked up a set of, this is a Christmas mini skein set from Once Upon a Corgi, which is The dyer is Gabby. I'm sure you heard of her. She has the Once Upon a Corgi podcast. So she came out with her Christmas colorways, and I love almost all of them. But I can't bring myself to buy all those Christmas colorways. So she had holidays like mini skein set. This is in her Audrey base, which is 80/20 Superwash BFL, and they're 10 grams each. So I'm gonna add this to my blanket because I don't have that many mini skeins. I don't really buy mini skein sets. I tend to just add my scraps, but I'm gonna run out of scraps soon, so I want to start building like a little stash for mini skeins. And yeah, I think my favorite one is this one right here, which is where I'm pointing to. It's called Christmas Like It's 1882. So they're very like a vintage Christmas skein, which I really like. I would like that in a full skein. And then the rest of them going this way is Peppermint Mocha, Dill Cream Cheese Snowman, Winter Storm, and Frosted Cranberries. So yeah, I really like her collection. I don't think she has any more. I think I got the last one, so she doesn't have any more in the shop. But she might have some more full skeins of these, so you should check it out. So now to shop update. This past week I was pretty much busy doing my own holiday mini skein set. So here's how I package them, and they're 10 grams each. So here it is packaged. I'll show you individually, so without the glare. So I still have some more Christmas full skeins ready to ship in the store. Some of them have sold out, but I do have them all as dyed to order. And so yeah, I spent this past week winding mini skeins, and so I'll show you. And this is Yolog. This is Feliz Navidad. This is Frost. Pine. Old Christmas Tree, which is what I'm knitting my socks out of right now. And this is Christmas Speckles, which turns out to be really popular. I had these also in 20 gram mini skeins, but they sold out. And the full ones sold out too. But I'm gonna have, you know, the set in the shop. Probably right after you see this, it'll probably be in the shop already. And yeah, it depends on how popular this is, if I restock it or not, just because mini skeins take a while to, you know, wind. I'm doing this all by myself, so yeah. And I forgot to bring something. I'll come back. Okay, now I'm back. So what I wanted to show you is what I used to wind the mini skeins. Before, I used to use a ruler, but which I learned from Mina, the Knitting Expat podcast. She showed that in one of her episodes, like I think at this point a year ago, using a ruler. But for me, it took a while to do it, and it left the skeins a little bit too fat to my liking. You know, I wanted more like how these look, a little bit longer. So I was looking for knitting knobbies, which is a tool that spinners use. I'm not a spinner, so I don't have that. And I was looking for something, you know, cheap. So I was looking on Etsy, and I found a seller that was selling knitting knobbies using PVC piping. So I picked this up. I don't remember the seller. I'll leave it below after I look it up. And so this is the 1 yard knitting knobby. You can also get a bigger one, which is 2 yards. And I just would just wind over onto the new knobby. If you're interested, I can do a demo on another episode. I'm not prepared to do that right now, so I'll just tell you about it. And you know, I used the scale, and you know, I wind up 10 grams, and then, you know, it was pretty easy to wind it off, and then I had a skein. So I like, you know, it's a little bit longer. I used the skeins I made before were a little bit too fat to my liking, so I like how this one looks. And I think I'm gonna pick up the 2 yards so I can get longer mini skeins like Gabby has. And what I like about this is that it's portable, so I can pretty much break it down and then just put it away. You know, it's a little bit awkward to store something like this in your drawer. You know, it takes up space, so I can just, you know, put it away easily. And so yeah, I think this is a good tool if you want to wind mini skeins, not just to sell, but if you want to trade with people. For me, it was a lot faster to wind it off on here than on a ruler. So yeah, that's my suggestion for this week. Other shop stuff I have. Let's see. Here is my stuff. So I dyed up a bunch of 20 gram skeins. Let's see, I have a lot here. I'm not gonna show you all of these because that would take forever, but I thought this would be good to have in a store. So if you want to add contrast heel, toes, and cuffs, you can do that. And it was fun just playing around with these because there's only 20 grams. You know, if I mess up, it's only 20 grams. It's not a full skein. And so yeah, I did mostly solid or semi-solid colors for heels, toes, and cuffs. So yeah. And here's a purple. It's really. And I think I did. No, I can't find it. It was a different shade of purple. Let's just say that. So here's another skein I was like experimenting on. I don't remember what I named it. I have to. If I did this shop update beforehand, I would have remembered, but I didn't. And then I added. I restocked the Gray Lady, which is a colorway I already had in the store, but I sold out. And it's slightly different. It has a lighter tone of grays in here. So if you already purchased the Gray Lady, it's not gonna match exactly. Yeah, I like how it turned out. Let's see what else. Just playing around different colors. If I remember the names, I'll list them below. Okay, so this I'm naming November Babies, after any November babies out there. And I was inspired. Basically, I want to knit myself a new hat. I have a hat with a similar color to this, but not as dark. And I want to knit myself a cabled hat. So I tried to recreate those colors from my old hat, but I put my own spin on it. And I like how it turned out. So I dyed this. This is in the Isabel base, which is my merino nylon. And then this is on my worsted base, which is called, I don't think I told you guys, it's called Dahlia, which is named after my great-grandmother. And then this is on my Inez base, which is named after my maternal grandmother. And this is 100% superwash merino. And it's a higher price point because it's more yardage than any of my other yarns that I have in the store. And so here are my 20 grams which I still have in the store, of my old Christmas tree. And I have one full skein left to ship in the store. So yeah, I feel discombobulated today. So yeah, that's it for this week. And I'm not sure when I'm gonna do another shop update after this, because I'm gonna have to rearrange my dye area, so that might take some time. Hopefully I can have a shop update, at least one more in December. And I'm looking into other business avenues. Let's just say that. So I might not have another shop update for a few weeks, but I think I have a lot of stock in my shop right now. So yeah, I think that's enough babbling this week. Oh, I wanted to talk about what I was watching. I'm still watching Gilmore Girls. I think I'm up to season 4 now, and it's a little strange. I think I'm on the 3rd episode because, you know, Rory graduated school and she's now in college, so it's a little bit changes on the show. So yeah, I'm still watching that. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish the whole series before the Netflix special comes out on the 25th. I don't think I'm gonna get to that. So I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers, but I'm sure there's gonna be spoilers out there. But I already watched the trailer for the Netflix show, so I already spoiled myself on certain things. So there you go. And I've also been watching another Netflix show called The Crown, which is based on Queen Elizabeth II's life, and it starts in the late 1940s, and I think the first season, I haven't finished the first season, and it ends in the 50s. And I'm really a big fan of like period dramas, especially that are set in the 50s, because of their costumes. Especially Princess Margaret has some really gorgeous gowns, which I would like, but I have no reason to wear those. So yeah, I have a lot of information, or a lot of knowledge about European royalty, I think, than the average American does, because I used to read a lot of historical fiction, and some nonfiction too. So I know a lot of like the customs, and I, you know, name, especially like the Tudors and stuff like that. I can name off all the English kings, or queens, which is a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit odd to other Americans. So I really like seeing, like, in the first episode you see Elizabeth's wedding gown, which I actually saw in person when I went to London, maybe like 9 years ago at this point. I think it was it was an anniversary, and they had during the summer you can go into Buckingham Palace because the royalty are not there. They're up in Scotland. So they opened it up to the public, and they had a display of stuff from Queen Elizabeth's and Prince Philip's wedding, and they had her wedding dress on display. So it was cool to see it, you know, recreated on the show. So yeah, I'm savoring each episode. There's only 10 episodes, and I don't want to, you know, binge watch all of them, because then I won't have any more to watch. So I'm kind of like pacing myself and watching maybe 1 or 2 a week. I think they said they already renewed it, so there should be more seasons coming. Probably won't be for another year or so. I'm guessing, since it's probably a high production value because of all the costumes and all that, and the sets. So yeah, thank you if you are still watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.